Hello. So if you've not watched any of my content before, my name is A Level Maths Tutor UK. And in this video today, we're going to look at four key secrets or four key points you can use to help you succeed in your A Level Maths exams. I mean, I've called them secrets just to be honest, just for clickbait. But we're going to look at four key important things that you can use to help you prepare for your A Level Maths exams coming up, for example, this summer in 2023, or if you're watching this in future years, 2024, 2025, so on and so on, you can use these points as well as points to help you out to prepare for these exams. And the first point that I'm going to really emphasize is that you must work through past papers, because at the end of the day, you're sitting maths exams. So the best way to prepare for sitting a maths exam is to practice maths exams. Sitting and writing out formulas 100 times is good. It's going to help you learn a formula, but it's not going to prepare you to do a maths exam. Doing a maths exam, preferably in exam conditions, as I mentioned down here, is going to help you prepare. It's the best way you can prepare for a maths exam. So you want to work for as many past papers as you can. Obviously, the past papers from your exam board. But another point I mentioned down here is that you can try other examples, past papers too. I mean, in the UK, you obviously have edexcel, you've got AQA, OCR, all the syllabuses are pretty much the same. I mean, AQA and edexcel are definitely the same syllabus. It's just that the exams and the layouts of the exams, like for example, pure and applied might be mixed into paper one, paper two, paper three. Like there's a different way in which the questions may be asked for different exam boards. But at the end of the day, it's the same syllabus. The topics are all the same. So if you do run out of parts, for example, if you're an AQA student and you run out of AQA past papers, don't be afraid to look at the edexcel past papers if you finished all your AQA past papers. So the key point is you do want to sit them in exam conditions. So all the exams are 2 hours for A level. So really you want to time yourself for 2 hours, and obviously no phone, no internet. You just want to do the paper for 2 hours and see what you can do, see what your brain has retained over the past 2 years, see what you can do without any help, and see if you can, yeah, see what you can get. I would say also don't be too disheartened if you don't do very well in your first attempt, because obviously your first attempt is your first attempt. You've got plenty of time to practice. So you just want to do a few, you want to start off by doing them in exam conditions, and you want to see what you can do. And of course, yeah, don't peek at the answers. You want to replicate the exam scenario as much as possible, and you want an honest reflection of where you're at. You want to have an honest, heart to heart assessment of yourself to see where you're at with these exams. So you want to do the exam. If you're getting 10% in your first go, well, obviously 10% is not 100%, but you've done an attempt at a past paper. You now know where you're at. So if you're getting 10% in the exam, if your first past paper practice, even though that's quite a low mark, I wouldn't be too disheartened, because that's a good first step. You've taken that first step. You've done a past paper. You know what you're at, and you know the level of work that you need to do. Obviously, if you're getting 90% in your first go at a past paper, that shows you're obviously doing very well, and you may not need to do as much work as others may have to do. But if you're getting 10% your first go, it just shows you that you need to do more work, and you're going to have to do more past papers, more revision, and get more support. That's all that means. So do your past papers, do them in exam conditions. Don't look at the answers, because you want, again, an honest reflection of how well you're doing, and you want to try other exam boards past papers too, if you run out of questions. So, for example, again, if you're doing edexcel, you do all the edexcel past papers, you've run out of past papers, don't be afraid to do an AQA past paper as well and test yourself, because, again, the syllabuses are all the same. The more practice, the more past paper practice, the better. So, yeah, that would be my first key point. And then the next key point as well is obviously not just to do the past papers, but review your past papers, review your solutions, and review the areas that you're struggling with. So, for example, are you struggling with a particular topic? So, let's say you're struggling with integration. You're getting integration questions wrong. You don't get it. You're really messing up with those questions. So, the key thing you want to do is you want to write down a summary of what you're not understanding. So, for example, maybe you're really struggling with integration by parts. You're getting questions wrong with that. So, write down the formula, write down, go online, look at an example of how to do integration by parts, and then write down a summary of that example and maybe some other examples as well on a summary A4 sheet of paper. So you've got you've summarized the topic, and you can see straight away how you can answer a question of that topic of that particular ilk. So you want to write down a summary of the topics or topic that you're struggling with. And then you want to do some practice as well. So don't just write down that summary sheet and forget it. Get some online questions. So if you're struggling with integration by parts, type in integration by parts, A-level maths questions, and just work through some questions and see if you've retained what you've learned from that summary sheet that you made. So that's the key point. That's one key point that you want to do after struggling with some questions in a past paper. Now, some students run out of time. So let's say you've timed yourself for 2 hours, you've done paper 1 for your exam board, you've run out of time after 2 hours, you're spending too long on questions. So that suggests that you need more revision work. So it suggests that you're not really tight on your knowledge because you're spending too long on questions. It could also mean there's a really tough set of questions and you're not sure where to start. I'm going to do another video on how to approach tough exam questions actually in the near future. But if you are running out of time, it does generally suggest that you're not as tight with your knowledge as you should be. So it suggests you probably need to do a bit more revision work. So what I would say is actually do some past papers with your notes instead. So if you are running out of time, do some past papers, maybe 2 or 3 with your notes with you, right? And again, time yourself for 2 hours. So you've got your notes there. If you're struggling with the question, you can refer back to your notes, and again, that will maybe just jog your memory a bit with the topics you forgot, just by reviewing your notes, getting that exam practice. But again, I'd still say do it in exam conditions, just with the help of your notes by the side if you do need them. And then, yeah, once you've done a couple of those and you feel a bit more confident, go back to proper exam conditions without notes, without any help, and with timed under 2 hours. Then my third point, my third kind of quote secret, is review your homework in your class practice questions or textbook questions, for example, if you work through textbooks in class. Now, there's a reason, obviously, why you're made to do homework, and homework reinforces the material that you've learned in class. So it's really important that you have done your homework that you were set over the past couple years, because you'll set that homework to reinforce what you learn in class, and you do that homework independently and you review that homework. So go back and look at the homework you did over the past year or so, right? And look at the mistakes that you made, look at the questions that you were struggling with, review those questions, and then get some practice, similar practice questions to these ones you struggle with. So let's say you did a homework on the quotient rule, differentiation using the quotient rule, and there was a really tough question that you struggle with. Review that question, redo that question, and then perhaps go online or ask your teacher to see if there are similar questions, or a worksheet of quotient rule questions, for example. So definitely review the work you've done in class, review your notes, review your homework questions, the questions especially that you made mistakes with. That's what you want to do. And then the most important, one of the most important points, I'd say obviously past papers is probably the most important way to revise for exams, but a really important point that I want to emphasize is ask for help. You've got your teachers at school that you can ask for help from. They're hopefully happy to help. I mean, some can be a bit grumpy and may not be too happy to help. But you can use YouTube videos. You can use private tutors. There are websites where you can just go online and Google private tutors in the UK, for example, and there's agencies that you can look at which offer private tuition. And of course, as I just mentioned, YouTube videos. So you can check out my YouTube channel, A-Level Maths Tutor UK, this channel that you're watching right now. I've got a range of videos so far on the pure side of content. I've not finished the syllabus yet, but my plan is to cover every topic in the pure syllabus, the statistics syllabus, and the mechanics syllabus as well. So I'm certainly not finished through the entire syllabus, but as you can see, I've done about 100 videos so far going through the pure videos. So if there's any topics, for example, I've done proof by contradiction, for example. Let's say you struggle with proof by contradiction, I've got videos on proof by contradiction. And you can use forums like, for example, the student room. Math Exchange is another website which is more geared towards university level maths, but you can still ask questions on Math Exchange as well. I'll write that down. So Math Exchange. Sorry, let me try and write a little bit neater. Math Exchange. CHANGE, or as I just said, the student room as well. So the student room. So you can use these forums as well to ask for help. Or of course review some of my videos, review other YouTube videos. If you really need a private tutor, you can of course get a private tutor to help out, or ask for help from your teachers. So definitely ask help, because everyone needs help, and especially with A-level maths exams, the hard exams, you do need help. So definitely ask if something doesn't make sense, for anyone who can support you. And the final thing I'll mention just before I wrap up this video, if you are interested in working with me, so I am an online tutor. If you are interested in working with me, I am, to be honest, at this minute in time, at the time of recording, in April 2023. I'm pretty full at the moment in my working schedule, but perhaps you're a year 12 student looking for some A-level help going into year 13 next year. Definitely drop me an email. And even if you're a year 13 student as well, and you want maybe a little bit of help, a couple of online tutoring sessions with myself over any topic from pure mechanics, statistics, I tutor all of them. You can just drop me an email, or get your parents to drop me an email. Just provide your year group and maybe just a brief summary of what you're struggling with or what you're looking for. And then we can have perhaps a meeting, a free, and I won't charge you a free meeting, obviously a free brief 10-15 minute meeting, just to discuss everything, just to introduce myself, discuss a bit about me. And if you or your parents need any more details about me, how I work, anything like that, just drop me an email, ask anything you want, and I can get back to you ASAP and provide anything you need. And we can arrange a Zoom meeting. I'll just write this down here, that my meetings, I use Zoom for them. We can arrange that if necessary. So yeah, again, that's just a key summary of the four secrets, or four key points that I would advise students to prepare or to succeed, for your A-level maths exams coming up this summer.